First question when you're putting a sound system together is bookshelf or tower speakers. Which one do you buy first? This answer really just depends on your use case. I've broken it down into one of two paths and it's pretty straightforward. Now, if music listening is your priority, I would highly recommend going with towers because then you wouldn't necessarily need a subwoofer depending on the speaker's, low end extension. But for the most part, not only do they sound good or they sound better because they'll have more fuller sound than a bookshelf speakers, but they also look good. And at the end of the day, when you do buy bookshelf speakers, you're going to have to buy a stand too. And you're essentially taking up the same amount of space. However, the towers are going to cost much more. Like, let's say the bookshelf speakers are like $900 for a pair. The towers are going to be like $1,000 each. So it's almost kind of like a double the price depending upon, what manufacturer you go with. What I have here is the SVS Ultra Evolution Tower. Oh, and by the way, this video is sponsored by SVS. They provide the speakers for this informational video. Big shout out to SVS. Thank you guys so much. These specific speakers play down to 30 Hertz and that's pretty significant. You're not going to find too many bookshelf speakers that'll hit 30 Hertz. Of course, for home theater and movies, you want something that'll hit 20 Hertz. So then, you would add a subwoofer later, but you could get by with a pair of towers. You could have gone to soundbar, but we don't want to do that because we can actually get a nice sound stage with separate speakers. A soundbar can, not going to be like 5 feet wide. There are some, but they're super expensive. But here in this situation, the speakers are about 7.5 feet apart, which will give you a nice sound stage and stereo imaging. And that's very important when you're listening to music and watching movies or playing games. So if you have the extra money and you listen to a lot of music, I would go with towers first. Now, on the flip side, if you watch more TV, movies, and play a lot of video games, I would go with bookshelf speakers and a subwoofer. Right? So you are going to be spending a little bit more money on the subwoofer just to kind of fill in that low end, which is definitely going to be needed. When we think about movie theaters, we think about small speakers all around you and a few big subwoofers. So essentially, that's what we're doing here with the bookshelf speakers and the subwoofer. Yes, the towers are more impressive. Yes, they take up the whole space. And in the white finish that I have here, they look really, really good. But at the end of the day, if 2-channel music listening isn't your thing, then I would steer you to bookshelf with the sub. If budget is a thing, you could definitely start off with the bookshelf speakers, no subwoofer. Okay, you just rock that setup for a while until you can afford a subwoofer. And I think there's some in the $500-600 price range, and those are definitely attainable. You save up a little bit here and there, and you could probably get yourself into a subwoofer for around $500-600. Another thing to remember when you're putting these systems together is that you have the power to buy all this stuff in sections, right? You can get the bookshelf speakers and then, 3, 4, 6 months later, you pick up a subwoofer, right? You rock that for like 8 months, a year, whatever happens, and then you save up some money. Let me get the towers. So now you got the towers and the sub, and then what do you do with the bookshelves? Boom, you send them to the back of the room. And now you've got your bones for a surround sound system. And at the end of the day, that's kind of where we're headed. We're headed for a Dolby setup in my room here. So I'm just trying to show you different avenues and different pathways to get to the goal from when we started episode 1 with just like a TV on the floor. In a previous video, I was using powered speakers, but for this setup, we are using the WiiM Amp Ultra. Now, this is a tiny little 2-channel amp that is a streamer, and it is connected to the TV via HDMI ARC. So all the sources are going into the TV via HDMI, and then we have HDMI ARC going from the TV to the WiiM Amp Ultra, and that's kind of the signal flow, right? The WiiM Amp Ultra comes in at $529, and they also have a more inexpensive option at $300. However, I wanted the WiiM Amp Ultra because of the power output. At 8 ohms, it's 100 watts per channel into 2 channels, and in 4 ohms, it is 200 watts per channel into 2 channels. I think that's a great amount of power to have a rockin' system that you have plenty of headroom for those dynamic shifts, whether it's a movie or TV or in the music itself. Now, these speakers are 87 dB sensitive, And if you actually have more sensitive speakers, you could easily get away with the less expensive WiiM amp at $300. Now, if you guys don't know what speaker sensitivity is and how to determine how much wattage you need per speaker, depending upon how far back you're sitting in your room, I made a video about it long ago. I'll link it down in the description. You guys should check that out. Another thing I find really fascinating about the WiiM products is that they have calibration, or you can calibrate. And we did a full-on calibration with the bookshelf speakers and the subwoofer, myself and Mr. Joe and Tell. I have a video about that, and we used the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit and Magic Beans to dial in my room over there with those speakers. One more thing before I leave, I've got an awesome life update. I got a song that's being released on August 7th. It is called Good Girl, and it would mean the world to me if you guys have been watching the channel and want to find a way to support. I have a link down in the description where you can pick up the song. I think it's like $1.99 or something like that. Pre-order on Beatport. It is an amazing thing to be on a little indie record label, and I've been DJing around LA. If you've noticed, my output for YouTube videos is, shrunk a little bit because there's a lot more stuff happening that's really cool and really in line with, my dreams as a human being to, play these big festival stages. And it's super exciting. We also have a party happening August 7th in downtown LA at the Moxie Hotel. So we're doing a meet and greet. If you guys are in the LA area and you want to meet me, I'll put a link for that. It's a free event. Come talk shop. We go on at like 8 o'clock. I'll be there at like 6 so we can hang out. It's going to be a fun time, and life is really exciting right now. So yeah, let's do this. All the links are going to be down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.